hype is real. Ladies and gentlemen, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 3, Stardust Crusaders, Episode 1. And man, it was so damn good. I don't know if it's just me, but the animation and art quality is obviously boosted since the last season. I mean, it was good last season, but there's obviously a noticeable jump in quality in this season, and I love every bit of it. So I am actually kind of happy they took a year break to work on this because it's so absolutely beautiful. The colors, the vibrancy is just amazing. In the first episode, we start out in the Atlantic Ocean where we see some guys pulling in a sunken, what they believe to be a sunken treasure chest, which is supposed to have some hidden treasure. And of course, there's just a couple of mooks, you know. They pop this coffin, which is actually what it is. And this one guy, he's just clamoring on like, open it up, let's get the treasure out, let's open it up. So these guys, you know, they're too dumb to live, so they're not very important. But what is important is what was inside the coffin. We all know who was in that coffin. The best vampire to ever grace fictional media ever. Fuck Edward Cullen, fuck those guys from Twilight. Dio Brando is the best vampire. He's above Dracula, alright? Forget Dracula. Blah, blah, blah. No, Dio. And we're introduced to Jotaro Kujo, who had recently gotten into a pretty big fight and severely injured a couple of peers at his school. And I want to mention that he also crushed their balls, so damn. Damn. Jotaro has purposely kept himself inside the jail cell because he fears that he himself is a threat to other people because he has an evil spirit possessing him. And even if you're not a fan of JoJo, if you had your ear open, you know, if you've heard some things about JoJo, you know exactly what this evil spirit actually is. And we learn thanks to Muhammad Adval, still one of the best characters in this part, in my opinion. One of the best characters in this part. There's a lot of awesome characters in this part, but Adval is still one of the best. We learned that this evil spirit is called a stand, which is basically a spiritual manifestation of the person themselves. And most stands have different abilities. And we see Jotaro, he pretty much used his stand to pretty much get him a whole bunch of stuff. He got him a boombox, he got himself a Shonen Jump magazine. So we know he likes reading Shonen Jump magazine. You know, since that's where he's from. I mean, I guess you gotta read where you're from, I guess, you know. Hey. And we're reintroduced to my man, Joseph Joestar. This guy, even though he aged a bit, even though he's got a little bit salty, he's got a little bit gray, got a little bit of wrinkles around him, he's still a badass, alright? He only gets more badass with age, like Sean Connery. Another thing I want to note is Jotaro's mom, Holly, she's a little bit affectionate. I mean, even though when Jotaro calls her a bitch or anything like that, she's just like, okay, you know, she just rubs it off. We see Adval use his stand, Magician's Red, and it goes toe-to-toe against Jotaro's stand. And is able to combat against him. And one thing is very interesting to notice that when Jotaro's stand grabbed Magician's Red neck, you could see that Adval's neck was also pressed down. So that right there is implying that any sort of trauma or damage inflicted on a stand can also be redirected back to the user itself. And Joseph explains to Jotaro how Dio is back in the world after his 100-year slumber. He's been reawakened, and he has taken over the body of Jotaro's great-grandfather, Jonathan Joestar, who is also badass. This is an entire family line of badass right here. So Dio's back in action, and they pretty much have to stop him. That's pretty much the gist of it right there. So overall, this was a very great episode, mostly for the fact that we introduced these characters, and also we get to see the stands from the get-go, which is really awesome too. So I was very interested to see how they handled it, and I am not disappointed at all. And one thing I definitely gotta mention, OST. Oh my god, OST in this is so good, man. Oh boy, I know we're gonna have a lot of fun with this OST later on during the season. So that's my first impressions of Stardust Crusaders. David Production, thank you, doing a great job with this right here. This is by far the most hyped anime of this season, maybe even the year, but I don't want to get too cocky. I mean, there's a lot of surprises coming down later on during the year, but this right here is definitely the most hyped anime of the season, bar none, without a doubt. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, we also see Joseph's stand, which is unnamed at this point in time. But we see a stand, and it has the ability to pretty much show pictures of anything it wants to, but it has to destroy like a 3,000 yen camera in order to do that. So that's like a waste of money just to do all that, to do just that simple ability. Okay, guys, that's my review / first impressions of episode 1 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm definitely following this. Of course, I'm gonna be following this. Of course, it's JoJo. I still love the first opening, but opening 3, Stand Proud, I still have high expectations, so I hope I'm not disappointed. I won't be disappointed. I mean, it's JoJo. It's JoJo. So yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe. Before I go, if you want to see me play this in a future video, go check out my other channel right here. There's gonna be a link right here, Super MKJC Gaming HD. We'll have a blast. And I'll catch you guys again next time. Keep on keeping on. Peace.